to 2 minutes for the next tap-off. Less than 2 minutes for the next tap-off. Remember, if you are leaving soft boxes, take Kit Lewis spotters with you. If you have one of the big things going, doesn't he out? Otherwise, they'll get off the bed. Players and officials, this is your 30-second warning. Please take to the field, ready to play.
Welcome back to the World Touch Cup here in Nottingham, UK. This Women's Opens fixture, the United States, South Africa. Adam Collins in commentary. Jerry, mate, thanks for joining me. What are we looking for in this one? This should be a great match.
Oh, I'm super looking forward to this. First time for me seeing the South African Women's Open. We know that they're physical, we know that they're athletic. Can they go against a really talented USA?
And number 20 there for the USA, Celine Sheeran. I think this is her 5th World Cup. She's a dual international playing rugby union and touch for Australia. Now here representing the USA, having moved over there. Husband's a stuntman in Hollywood, in some of the top Hollywood movies. And just coming back from a knee reconstruction 10 months ago. Also, some of these young girls here from South Africa. This is a rebuilding phase for the touch box. And they had a game earlier on this morning. They'll be looking to build on that one. We see them go on the attack to dive over, but the defence comes together, makes the touch and shuts out the first opportunity. So now both teams have had a bit of a loosen up with possession. And it'll be the USA to roll out off their line.
Yeah, definitely, and a really good opportunity there from South Africa. Maybe the extra pass could have been thrown to the outside edge, but it's early doors. You don't need to go too early. And the USA looking to get some fresh legs on the field, give them a good attacking platform. And just as I say that, the curse of the commentator has been with me over the past 2 days, well and truly.
USA going down yesterday afternoon, and they'll be looking to consolidate from that and take some of that experience into this match here. As we look forward to this Women's Opens, it's a very big division. And both of these teams are on that sort of tier below the top two, and they're really fighting for that final position. Hoping to take home the bronze medal, I would suspect. And competing against your lot, the English. Yeah, and some of the European countries as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think the English Women's Open have set their sights pretty high. They want to be able to contest the likes of New Zealand and Australia, but they've got to get through these two first. South Africa and the USA. Obviously, England played USA yesterday, comprehensive victory, but first day jitters, you can put a lot down to that. USA will want to come out firing today.
Yeah, good wheels here too, this direct transition pattern from the US. They're up over the halfway line now. Final touch. Pick and go from the acting half. She's in behind the line of defence. Can she find support? She can. Did she get the ball to ground cleanly there? The referee said yes, she does. So let's have a look at that. That's a score for the USA. Scored by number 1. That is Carly Binden. Let's see how it happens. Number 14, Chloe Mann, was dangerous from that position yesterday. That's a beautiful transition. And Chloe Mann, the clean set of heels, the pick and scoop, that's going to be an integral part of their play.
Oh, definitely, and that's what you get with a good transition. You get to run against the defence that's retreating, and when you've got hands such as the USA do, you trust them. 2-on-1.
Just a little bit, the aerial dive there from the South African winger. She was too high, too lateral. She needed to be shaping more towards the ground there to get the ball to ground quicker.
Yeah, also maybe starting a little bit wider, come in on that angle and get underneath the covering defender. But they sweep round now, looking back for this right side edge.
The play goes down in the middle. She lost the footing. That was Celine Sheeran. So try time for South Africa. The touch box back on the board. Tie us all up at 1-1. And that beautiful big smile of the try scorer, she makes her way off and salutes from her teammates. That was a great try. Oratitso.
A lovely little show and go as well. It comes back around on the sweeper, recognises that the USA middle loses her footing, and then little pump of the ball, see you later, goes through the gap. Brilliant score.
Yeah, Oratitso Georgiana. She scored that one for the touch box, and now it's the USA back on the attack. Again, working through that middle third. Sweeper play comes around. No space there. So the touch box defence up to the task. Now, here they are on the 7, just drawing the defenders up off the line. Sweeper play again. Don't need the sweeper play. They're going to go direct in the middle again, and the diver scores at the feet of the referee. Points to the spot, and another well-worked try there.
Yeah, lovely, and it's a very similar platform from what the box used earlier. Sweeper looks to come round, and then they just back off into the middle quickie, and a lovely dive.
Yeah, that defender from South Africa turned her back on the play, and that's the cardinal sin. And just allowed the Shu Wu to dive over and score for the USA. And now it's back for South Africa here. 2-1 the score, USA over the touch box. Drawing the defence up off the line. Quick dish off the ground again, the right foot step. But the defence up to the task, no gaps there, and they shut that one down. Now the US turn defence into attack, but unfortunately for them, they drop the ball. Those sort of errors, mate, they can be costly.
Yeah, definitely, and we saw this in the game earlier with Samoa. They couldn't get off their line, and you're so tired, it's so sapping to defend. And against a team with such athleticism, such as South Africa, they will make it pay. They look for the quickie, they reset. Look to keep the ball in the middle now. Another quickie phase. Middle, in behind the USA middle. There's an overlap.
That's a great touch coming across in cover there for the USA. There were good hand movements there, but it was just a little bit delayed. Passing wasn't quite on song, but the referee calls a penalty back into the middle of the field now. So another full set of 6. They just need to maintain possession here and put pressure on this USA defence. They've done it early, but got picked off pretty quickly. They corrected, and that is Chloe Mann in the middle that corrected that little error. And now up they come off the line. Quite aggressive in defence, the USA, and they need to be. The big dive, another touch affected, so they've done well here to shut it out. The touch box certainly asking questions, but it is all condensed in that middle part of the field.
Yeah, and if you look on this right edge, big gap between the link and the wing. Will they go there? The ball just goes to ground. But what the box are doing really well at the moment is they're running, when they get a repeat set, they run a couple directly at the line under the feet of the two middles, which makes the middles feel a little bit more nervous. And they go, come on, Links, I need your help. And then the space is on the outside. Let's see if they can start to capitalise on those opportunities.
It just, you're right, it's exactly what they were attempting to do, but it just wasn't as crisp as it needed to be, I think. It was a timing issue, but we'll see how they pick it up.
Yeah,
as we see the USA now roll on. Sheeran out of half. She picks and goes. Gets in behind the line. This is where she's dangerous. Heads up touch football from Celine Sheeran. And she finds support to extend the lead now for the USA. 3-1 out over the touch box.
It's a superb little pick-up from Sheeran. Goes all the way through. Almost pushes her dumper out the way. You're in my way. I need the clear gap. And she does. And then the vision. Superb.
Lizzie Witter it was who was on the end of that Sheeran pass, and 3-1 the scoreline now, getting away from the touch box. They need to consolidate here and try and convert some points from this possession. She dives over short, touches the ground. She gets there underneath the touch. That's perfect touch football in these conditions.
Yeah, definitely. And this is what you get when that ball is dumped so crisply and the half is there. It's on the floor for a fraction of a second. Boom, up and diving at the line. That's a perfect dive. Hand on the back of the ball, leaning forward. Gorgeous score.
Ashley Torresilis it was for the touch box, who gets the team back within 1 now. 3-2. It really is a seesawing match. You thought there where the USA got out to a 2-try margin, there could be trouble, but South Africa, they don't like that. They don't like being behind by too much. We see the USA on the attack. They need to shut this one down. They do. But nicely taken there to complete that set. And the touch box bring it off their line.
And what do we say about a 2-try margin? It's a dangerous one.
We've had that chat, but we just see a cheap turnover from the touch box. Not something they want to do too often. This is Pressure Town now here on the 7-metre line, a full set of 6. Dangerous players are out there. Chloe Mann is the danger. The girl with the ball now. Touch affected, but the referee's calling the not advancing penalty there, so that's penalty number 1 for this set.
Yeah, they're going to look to go middle, I think. Kick on the outside, they do.
Mann and Milanez working together in the middle. Milanez with a heavily strapped shoulder. There is Chloe Mann. The sweeper goes around. Mann dishes off the ground nicely. The link hole had been hit perfectly. The defender comes and shuts it down. That was an opportunity begging for the USA.
Yeah, the ball was on. Beautiful line from the link. Doesn't quite happen. It looked to go for another quickie. Back on the inside.
Milanez back to Mann. Mann with a dive. The defender came across, but Mann was too fast. And gets the ball over the line to go out again by 2. 4-2 now. Chloe Mann, a player to watch here in this USA Women's Opens team.
Definitely, and they sort of get away with a missed opportunity before. And it seems like a little bit of a disillusion of a play where the South African defence is unsure of which angle she's going to pick. And at the end of the day, she just kicks back against the grain, dives at the line. Too athletic. South Africa can't deal with it. It's 4-2.
Just a drop ball there too. Not happy with herself. The error in the middle of the field. Those cheap turnovers, we can't see too many of them. If you're home supporting the touch box, get behind your girls. Let them know. Got to keep that possession as much as possible. It's like gold as the USA make their way up over the halfway line, deep into enemy territory. Great opportunity here. Pick and go. Short pass. Defence comes in time in the shape of the skipper, Atitso Guarajena. Out to the winger, one-on-one now, and turned away. So South African line stays strong. Now they have to ruck the ball forward. Just want to tuck it under their arm and move the ball forward. Field position, so important. That's nice. Extra metres now in behind the line. Good. Now the fresh legs come on for the touch box. Sweeper play coming up here. Nice drive again to establish that momentum. Needs to get a ball down here. Clean roll ball can be costly. There she breaks through now the line. That shutdown defence from the USA came perfectly in time through the shape of Shizuku Tei. But nice work there from young Levy.
The brilliant transition from A to B. They've done everything right, and brilliant decision just to take that phase, get the ball down. Hips though, not square to the try line. The referees are hot on it.
There was an extra drive in there from Waberski that really set that play up, and that was the one. Unfortunately for the touch box, they couldn't consolidate, but it was good, productive play. Let's see what they bring to us now. There's Waberski with the ball now.
It's those for me, it's these extra passes, because USA are sending single shooters. And the box have more than enough ability to pass around them, and they've recognised it.
There's Waberski. Again, beautiful metres, and then the interference in the ruck. That's a great play. She has been integral so far in just lifting her team, getting momentum. Young Waberski, Paige Waberski, doing all the hard yards for the team. And now it's the on-field. She's come off for a breather, and she's definitely earned that. As we see now the touch box in the middle of the field, ready to go.
They look to come round the corner now. Quickie play, look to step back.
Jade Simons tried to step off the right boot. Very slippery conditions out there. Christina Martins in half. Gets it back to Simons. Simons goes down. Here it is. Page a long ball out to the wing, but good cover defence from the USA through Sanika Friend. Couple of touches remain here for the touch box. What can they do? That's Simons trying to work here with Christina Martins. Martins goes out half, but nothing doing, so she just has to throw a wild pass. Tempted intercept taken. Body collision, well done from Sanika Friend.
Yeah, great vision from the winger, ball hawk on that far side. That pass was looping. She goes, you can't float one near me. Gets up in the passing lane, takes the ball, and now USA have their turn to run a potent transition. Here's the pace.
So yeah, the touch was affected. Celine knew there. She could have played on. but there was nothing doing. So she'll take the penalty, 10 metres out from the touch box line. And this is an opportunity. It didn't look like anything was on there, and just Celine picked the ball up and went hard. Touch affected.
But sometimes that's what you need to do, right? When things are a bit static and you're struggling to find your momentum, you just need that one person, beat a man, go forward, and you get the benefits from it. And you're saying a great field position now. Check back off on the inside. Ball is down. Try is good.
No, touched on the way through. She was a little bit close to the defender. She picked the hole, but she ran that angle you talked about earlier, and the defender was just able to reach out with a despairing hand and got the mark that she wanted this time. Shearing off the right foot, goes for the short pass in traffic, and good defence there. Solid defence from the touch box. Their line holds, and the score remains 4-2. Now they have to come deep from within their own territory.
Yeah, and that defensive shot will do them a world of good in terms of confidence, because that's USA's potent attack pod. And you've been able to defend a complete set of 6. That's something that not many women's open team can do.
So hard contact there in that touch. Just put the Bucks on the back foot, and a little bit of slipping sliding going on. They're only over halfway. Nothing doing on the final touch. So this is advantage USA here, you'd have to say. Good field position to set up the transition as well. So fresh legs will come onto the field after 2 touches, and there'll be 4 touches in enemy territory to try to convert into points, and they roll forward. We got out there now. That's Xu Ju Wan, one of the scorers earlier on. Xu Ju Wu, sorry. And now that is the half court, or the 6th touch. And South Africa come off their line once again. This has been what it's all about for South Africa. They've done a lot of work off their own line. Not many opportunities down on the line.
Yeah, definitely. And their best opportunities have come off the back of their transition, which is not something you want to be limited to, because it means you've had to defend to transition. And it's a really tough dynamic to manage, especially against such a mature and experienced USA side.
You know, Insahaf, Levy in the middle. There's Werberski again, driving forward as only she knows how. Here's Levy through the line. Nice pass, but beautifully stopped there by the winger from the USA. But that was much more enterprising from the touch box. They're really finding their game now. I have to say, on the back of Werberski, she looks dangerous when she's out there. She sets that forward momentum and the platform which the touch box can build from.
Yeah, and again, it's that notion of you're finding all your success from the transition, but you have to work so hard to get there. What I'd like to see from the Springboks is when you get there, try and draw that penalty, try and draw that dropping early, any result. And you can sustain the pressure.
Talk about pressure there. That was good pressure from the defensive line of the touch box there, but again, they have to roll out and they need to get some momentum here. This one, tuck the ball under the arm. There's that nice little slip pass. Extra metres, also close to the transition. There's Werberski again, punching it hard up through the middle. This one is Roda Olivier. Spread the ball wide up to Nuha Levy. Lucky in the middle is Simons. Now they go forward. That's Martins. Simons with the ball. They work together in a pod. Long ball out to the wing, and unfortunately, Jessica McKenzie puts that one down.
Yeah, I'd maybe like to see, because they've gone to this wing a few times, I'd maybe like to see this winger hold her depth a little bit more so she can really accelerate onto that pass, so she's not having to check a stride to reel the ball in. Almost you want it to be too far in front so you're always reaching, and then that forward momentum carries you past that covering winger.
Now it's the USA rolling forward. The man going off here, shearing on now. Straightens it up, gets in behind the line of defence. Turns the ball back onto the inside this time. Look for her to go from half here. Strike dump. There she goes, opens up in front of her. Ran dead there. Just unfortunately, the link came in when she really needed to hit a straight line.
Yeah, it's one of those where, you know, in England touch, you're always taught as that link when the scooping player's coming underneath you. Just stand on the just stand on the try line. Just wait for the ball, because then the defenders have got to come for you, and you give more space to the scooping player.
Yeah, it becomes a little bit manic, doesn't it? All the defenders converge past the line, and it often opens up there. And if we can see that one again, or they'd like to have that replayed, I'm sure that's what they would have done. But now it's this touch box. This is better. Good acceleration here. Young Lataba Khonto, she takes it forward. Now there's that wide pass again, slips the ball back to the inside, but that one goes to ground. It's that final pass often not quite right.
Yeah, I think the enterprise from South Africa is excellent. I think when they're able to get into that red zone relatively consistently, but as you rightly say, it's that last pass, that last connection. And, I mean, we've not had a score on the board for a little while, so it shows that their defence is on top as well at the moment. They need a little bit more in attack.
There's Lee taking it down. This now is Shuju. And 6 more right on the last touch of the set. Frustrating for the touch box to see the coach here in the dugout throw his hands in the air. Just knows how much harder that makes it for his team. There's Leila Shokat in the middle, working there with Wu. There's Wu for the dive. Touch comes in time. Nice touch by Torikotse. Working in the middle, but the pressure of the defence is right on the money. So now the final touch, it'll be a static play. What can they turn on here? You'd hope that the whole line of South Africa come up together, and they do. Force the error, and that's a good turnover. Could have been a late pass, but the referees just say, we'll call that ball away, and we'll start fresh here from the 7-metre line. Yeah, it was a little bit of a juggle there.
I was just having a look there, and from the South African defensive spacing, it was much tighter. And they were moving, pushing and pulling across that field together. Ask a lot more questions from the USA.
That's great meters as the siren goes in the background. Kristen Grafford is there, leads the team forward, but right on the hooter. So the score and half-time here in this Women's Opens game between the USA and the South African touch box. 4-2 in favour of the USA. Joe, they have dominated, but there's plenty to work on here from the South African perspective.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, with the South African team, your defence has been pretty good. By and large, we're not too worried about that. What I'd like to see as they go forward into the red zone of the USA is, can you pull both middles up into the touch? At the moment, they're restricted to the transitional attack. What they'd like to see is a bit more sustained pressure and pull both middles up. And then it means that you can use your pace, which you've got in abundance, to go in behind those retreating middles and diving at the line. That's what they're missing.
I think the way I'm looking at it, I can really see the difference in experience. The USA just have that maybe 2 or 3 players who can make that decision and create that space and then put the pressure on, whereas South Africa, a little bit of inexperience, but definitely a team building.
Oh, definitely, and these are the games that are going to be invaluable for a maturing nation, because you've come up against players who, this is their third, fourth World Cup. These are players that this is their bread and butter. This is what they know. This is what they revel in. And from the South African perspective, you can almost adopt some of their decision-making policies and go, okay, that works. We'll have that.
We'll make it our own.
Yeah, exactly.
So there we go, 4-2 half-time. We'll take a quick break and bring you all the action of the second half here from Nottingham for the 2024 Touch World Cup. What a beauty.
I love Nottingham, the home of Robin Hood. From the bright lights of Goose Fair to the peaceful nature of the Sherwood Forest woods. There's a feeling of togetherness, unity, pure, honest, love. And that feels great like a bright summer's day at the horses down by the lake at Colic. All I love Nottingham. The River Trent, the embankment, the Nottingham Carnival, different cultures dancing, the diversity, Just walking down Columbus Street on a Saturday. The two lions in the square stand tall with pride. And when the markets in town come alive, it gives me life. Listen, as the council house clock chimes, and depending on how many times, lets you know the time. I've been to concerts at the Motorpoint Arena, and I've been to concerts at the Nottingham Caves. I've been here all my life and I'm still amazed by this place. I love Nottingham. Sometimes I stare at Hockley's graffiti colourful walls, and sometimes I gaze at the deers running around Woollerton Hall. Supreme thrills, from chilling up at Green's Mill or up at that castle on the hill. Nottingham, I love you, and I always will.
Visit Nottingham today.
Back live here for this second half of the Women's Opens Division World Cup. United States taking on South Africa, and it is the USA currently leading 4-2. South Africa with a tap-off here to commence the second half, and they really need to consolidate this. They have to be, for mine, the first team to score in the second half.
Yeah, definitely, and they've been really good value for the two scores that they've got already, but they left opportunities out there. What I'd really like to see off this possession is get to the 7 with 2 or 3 touches ready to play. If you don't get a score, get the penalty. Draw the penalty, get some sustained pressure.
Paige Wilberski got us underway. She drove it straight and hard. What they can't do is make an error in the roll ball. And just a couple of those looked a little bit lateral there. So they're down there on their third. Wide shift. Cut out pass was on.
Had to go to the wing there for me. Had to go to the wing there.
Rachel Reardon was at court. This is Wilberski now. Out to the link on the right-hand side. Wrap-around play for Wilberski. Cut out pass for the winger. But the defence slips underneath and gets the numbers. Here's a forced error with that pass. She didn't need to throw that one. Would have been looking for the touch in the second phase play. But now the USA roll forward. This is what they do well. This transition play. 2 touches and they're up the halfway line already. On come the fresh legs and the speed, but a forward pass from the ruck. Sees the touch box back in possession now on the halfway line. So another opportunity, almost like a restart for the second half.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this first minute really sums up the difference between the two teams. The efficiency at which USA use their touches is superb. Whereas with South Africa, because they are a little bit more emerging, so you've got to take that extra touch to secure the ball. It means you've got less to play with when you get to the red zone. That's better. Trying to go on the outside.
There's a lot of fatigue out there. You see tired players already, which is a bit of a warning sign here for the South Africans. Back over the top. Good. This is Kristen Graf. Turns it back on the right and just 6 more. Just touched in flight. Enough.
Oh, it definitely was touched in flight. That's one of those. It's like, no, sir, I promise, sir. We can see it was.
So now, full set of 6. This is Graf once again on the 7 metres. Graf with the ball. An offside player, but the onside player collapsed and made the touch. So we can't award a try there. Just an onside player did affect the touch, but they'll get a penalty. So that's penalty number 2 here on the line. That's an offside penalty. That's Gruffing in over the line, but not able to get the ball down before being touched. This static play not really working for South Africa. They need to move it out of the middle. Already Kotze. This is better from Gruff out to the right, a wrap around, but no. That ball is down, so you'd have to say they didn't make the most of that opportunity.
Yeah, and for me, South Africa probably noticed that the space is on the far side. Completely agree. But if the space is on the far side on touch 3, it's going to be there on touch 6. So use everything available to you, and even if you don't get the score, at least you've made the USA defend the maximum amount of touches, and then you're getting a net gain because of the amount of effort you've drawn from the USA.
But that's counted. They have to then, in defence, they have to move up and be more aggressive which is something they're not doing in that transition as well. So a couple of things there for the touch box to fix. And I'm sure the coach here on the sideline, Double, will be looking at that one, making it happen.
That's a brilliant dump. The half is just late. It's an amazing dump in your transition. The half is a couple seconds away, and it undoes a good work.
What we just saw there too, and the camera angle that you saw it on was perfect. Kristen Graf it took the ball forward, and the acting half was actually in front of her. Yeah. The player that rolled the ball never retreated and got into an onside position, so she was ineffective in that space, and that was enough to unsettle the attacking pattern of the touch box. So just a little bit of communication, a little bit of experience again.
Yeah, and I think you've hit the nail on the head there. That's the difference of having the experience of playing a couple tournaments, playing internationally, and look at the pace, the strike dump. They accelerate onto the ball, wrapping round, and now USA have 2 to play with in the red zone.
That's Layla Shokat. She's been dangerous, gets the ball to Huju Wu.
6-touch turnover.
So Wu not able to score on that occasion, but they are your dangerous attacking pod right there. Shokat was very busy yesterday, and she's continued that in this fixture.
Oh, that's better. That's much better from South Africa. You
Good
need
momentum.
more of that.
They just need to build on it here. Put a couple of these together, get in behind the line, which is great. There's Paige Waberski. That's nice. Now, see what they can do here. Levy punches it hard into the line. Slips it away again to Levy. Diving try. Young Insahafla Evie. What a beautiful try. Well constructed by the touch box.
And that's what they can do when they get the roll on. That might be
Have a look at it here. There's Levy with a nice dump. Waberski dishes it straight off the ground, and then Levy. Beautiful dive. And great try there for the touch box to come back. 4-3 now.
Personally, might be my favourite try that I've seen in this World Cup so far. From coast to coast, efficiency back in the hands. And that's what South Africa can do.
And we talked about earlier, a couple of players stood up there and made this drive down the line. That was the initial one. And then Waberski with a couple there to set it up with Levy. Beautifully constructed by the touch box. And the USA, they're not going to be happy with it. They're down there now on the 7 metres. That's Sheeran working with Maggie Lee. They work well together. Fine space out wide. And a touch was affected. That was Zainab Sena Uchak.
Ref just having a bit of a chat. I think there might be an offside penalty here. No, they've just
called it all clear. Let's have a look here at the replay if we can and see if we can determine what the call was. That pass looked forward for mine, I have to say. And the touch was, if it was affected,
she's onside.
Was before the ball was down.
She's onside. She hits the line.
Wow. And the on-field referee made the initial call. I don't see how a man 20 metres away, behind the play with bodies in between the contact, can make that call. The teams are playing 2 on the scoreboard difference, but both teams, there's a struck match between them.
Yeah, it's a bit of a chess match at the moment in terms of the line defence.
Wow. Sorry, but just wow. Anyway, we're back underway. The USA, they've only made 2 metres here on this entire play. That's 3 for Lee. Lee and Sheeran working together again. There's Lee. She'll take the dump, split to the right. Sheeran goes to the left. Numbers out there. Straight hole runner this time. And there were 2 bodies heading through that gap.
Well, they're in behind some of the USA defenders here. So if they can get a good roll on, as they have, there's an overlap. There's
straighten
a 3
up here. Straighten up. That's good play. Now get that second phase. There's Waberski. She's always punching hard into the line, getting in behind the defence.
When the South African transition is slick, it's Waberski who's involved every single time.
Every time. And so this young lady here as well, Ruff. There's Sheeran tidying up with Ratitso Urajena.
And again, South Africa definitely look the most dangerous when they get that transition rolling. And for me, what I'd really like to see, because as you get a rolling defence, it's quite hard for a referee to call dropping early because they're constantly rolling. So gamble on just checking that stride and just holding and saying, where are they going? They've got to come to me. Where are they going? And then you're asking questions of the ref.
Absolutely, and making them, contribute to the calls. But we see the USA now, they're rolling forward, and this is what they've been doing. They're just consistent, whereas the inconsistency of the touch box, when they are slick, that's why it stands out so much. But there's another well-worked try for the USA.
Yeah, it's really good. And again, we're just complimenting the South African transition. Well, USA goes, I think you've been speaking about them a bit too much. Here's one of our own. And
yeah, that's Man. She is the danger player. There's going to be plenty of teams who are going to have to keep an eye on her. And Zainab Senna-Utrak gets over the stripe.
I mean, it goes back to what we were saying in the first half. Everyone defends the back of the try line when someone scoops through. In actual fact, you can still score on that line.
You've only got to be on the line to score. That's right. Now the touch box, 3 behind. This makes it a bit tougher. 10 minutes remain in the half. They shift the ball to the left. They'll dive, but she was a little bit too far out. But at least good intent to get the ball over the line. And now they bring it back into the middle. There's Simons, gets it down. Christina Martins it was. The ball shifted out to the left, but again, nothing doing.
And I think that's the best example we've seen of USA defending on autopilot, just dropping when the touch is going to be initiated. What you would see if this was an Australia, a New Zealand, an England, is you'd see them going to engage touch and then going, where's he going? And you'd say, come on, he's dropping early. And it's those fine margins that separate the top 3 and the rest.
Absolutely. And now it is the USA. Sheeran again from half. She's done this a few times, but that's great defence from the touch box, coming across or chasing from behind, and makes a great diving touch, because that was danger signs for the box. They're able to snuff it out. Now they come up. They need to just drive straight here. The good meters now, second one. Take it forward, Simons. This is better. Into the middle. There's Waberski. Let's see what she can step up now. In behind the line, a couple of players out here. That's good touch there from Levy. She straightens up and drops the ball back in the hands of Celine Sheeran in the USA outfit. A little no-look flick pass. Unfortunately for the box, it was on, but just there was a USA player in. She was looking for Waberski, who deserves a try, but Sheeran, experience comes to the fore.
Yeah, and as you say, that is just pure experience. And I think with that touch as well there, definitely a bit of experience going into that, because the USA are just, I think they're it might sound a little bit strange, but I think they're just playing the game better. I think they're just playing with the experience that they know and manipulating things here and there, and all of these 1%ers are adding up as they go to scoop through again. Phase play over onto the open side, step back, but Waberski's flying off the line and affecting the touch.
Yeah, Laura Milanez there with a heavily strapped shoulder. She working beautifully here with Chloe Mann. Chloe Mann's a danger sign for me. Let's see what, oh, she lost the footing there. There's Martins again. Nice late switch play, straightens up, a show and go, and that's Carly Bindon. Carly Bindon, the long legs of Carly. It was just a little show and go, and that was enough to hold the defence on the line, and it just opened up like Sydney Heads. Let's see it here again in replay. That late switch, beautifully worked, and unfortunately for Waberski, she wasn't able to get across. I'm going to give her a leaf pass on that one, because she's done a ton of work. Paige Waberski. Yeah, that was beautifully done by Bindon.
Everyone gets one. Everyone gets one, especially when you're such a workhorse for your side. You can afford a little slip up here and there.
And there's Graf now taking it forward, slips it away to Raditzo. Now back to the 7-metre line for the play ball. This Graf gets it away to Khanyisile Khanye. Oh, nicely worked back on the inside, but the referee was coming off the line for a penalty.
It's a shame, because they worked it really well, and they've done exactly what I was asking them to do at half-time. Both middles engaged into the touch, passing the ball around really well on the 7. Oh, look at the USA driving
just
up.
in and away and behind. It was beautifully executed. Now they roll up over the line through Sanika Friend. There's Sheeran, dishes off to Lee. Lee gets the ball down. Offside player here in Kristen Graf. That was done, the touch there on Maggie Lee. So they'll reset. Lee pops it up. Shizuka Tate. Oh, now late pass. Yeah. This is an important time. 5.5 minutes remain. They trail by 3. South Africa certainly not out of it because we have seen how lethal they can be on the back of these rolls. So now Kraf in the half. Picks up Jade Simon. Simon slows it down a little bit. Christina Martin's getting the ball down for Simons. Martin's now from half through the line, but a touch. Going to have a late pass here. The diving touch was affected before the ball was released, but good enterprising play there for the touch box.
Yeah, and they actually get to the 7 almost by just feigning the strike, and it's just like, okay, now we're going, no, we're not, now we're going, and they end up getting to the 7, running a really nice step back, and unfortunately, the USA defence is just up to the task of chasing out and making the touch. Much better attacking displays from South Africa, but this USA side is just so experienced, and once again, look at the meters made.
Big meters there for the US. What can they do now? There she is, Chloe Mann. He needs to find a woman here and does so in the shape of Bindon. Carly Bindon on the back of beautiful heads-up touch footy from Chloe Mann. And we really want to talk you through this here in the replay because Mann did exactly what was required. You'll see a lot of players will pick up and scoop from half and they start looking straight away. Chloe puts her head down, gets behind the line of defenders and then heads up and looks for support.
Yeah, and this is what we're talking about with elite touch, is you don't want to sort of telegraph, right? And when you get to the elite level, such as Chloe Mann, she scoops. She knows that wing is free. She knows she's there. But she just waits and waits and waits and sees the South African winger come and goes, okay, now she's free.
Now's my time.
Easy pass. Easy pass.
The thing with that theory too is if you're picking and scooping at pace, let's face it, you want to go hard. If you're trying to accelerate as quickly as you possibly can and your head's up looking left and right, the balance isn't there. You see a lot of players lose control of their footwork or even their hands because their body's all over the shop. Their body moves with that. The head down runner that gets through the line and makes the advantage then can have that heads up play.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a really good example of that is we saw in the Nationals a few weeks ago. I believe it was Dom Trippier who scooped through, and I was asking him afterwards, I was like, how do you know where your players are? And he goes, well, I count the opposition in front of me.
This is good play here for the South Africans. Christina Graf it was that got the ball out wide. We're going to have a consultation between the referees. What is he going to call here? Looks like it's going to be a penalty.
It's not a try. You had 7 on the field leading up to that try.
7 on leading up to the try was the call. 7 on leading up to the try. I would have imagined that after one touch has been completed, that play is not on any longer.
I'd be in your box, yeah. Yeah.
So now we have a penalty on the halfway line to the USA.
My understanding of that is with 7 on, you can't call it retrospectively. It's in the moment or gone because the advantage is passed.
Correct. That's how I judge it. But again,
what do we know?
Exactly. Not going to harp on it. The USA get a chance to score, and they do. So that has gone end to end, and on the back of that decision, the USA extend their lead now, and it is Chloe Mann.
Once again, it's a lovely score as well. If you can watch, she does exactly what I've been asking South Africa to do. She engages both middles tuck under in the same area. Little check off, too easy.
The other part of that too was Shizuka Tay, who dumped, pulled really hard to the right and just held up defenders because they thought if it comes here, I need to be here. And then Mann exploited that gap in the middle as we see Paige Waberski. She is going right till the end. Less than a minute remains here. and she's not going to die wondering. She wants to get on the board for a team. And like I called earlier, mate, she deserves a try.
She deserves it. She's been the standout performer for me. Unfortunately, that ball just goes to ground. But, you know, the South Africa coaching staff and a lot of these women will watch this game back and they'll probably go through the last 40 minutes and think, God, we were in it. We were really in it. And yes, we've had a couple of decisions go against us. That's sometimes what happens in touch. On another day, might have worked, but there's potential in this team. And I think if you can still put a couple of tries on against what is a very experienced and a very mature USA side that have worked really hard for their success, you can take a lot of positives from it.
Oh, there's so many positives here for both teams really moving forward in this tournament. There's Wilberski with a big collision. And the hooter sounds in the background, but we'll play this penalty out. It'll go the way of South Africa, the penalty. So they'll take the tap. And that's the final touch for South Africa, and that'll round out the match. A convincing victory by the United States Women's Opens over the touch box, 9-3. Joe, give us a wrap up of what you just saw out there in that game.
I think we hit the nail on the head in the first 10 minutes. It's experience versus inexperience. It's the difference of the likes of Chloe Mann that make a team. And for me, the USA worked more efficiently with the touches available to them. And South Africa had to take an extra couple touches here and there to secure the ball, which allowed the USA to get onside. And that's a slippery slope to work on, especially against a team that's so experienced.
So victory to the United States. Plenty of action coming your way. We're going to take